Today we're speaking with Laura Berry of Room 5 and of the Teacher Diversity and Inclusion Committee about a book that she really likes to use in the classroom called Furquan's First Flat Top, and how it relates to the anti-bias work that our teachers do with the kids here at Step 1. So Laura, thanks for being with us, and can you just tell me some of the things you like about this book?
Yeah, totally. So Furquan's First Flat Top, right off the bat, it's written by a local Bay Area author, Robert Trujillo, and one of the first things that struck me when I became an educator is, as a child, people that looked like me were really overrepresented in children's books. I had plenty of representation of kids and adults in stories that featured main characters that looked just like me. And so as I began working in kind of a more diverse demographic, when I started here at Step 1, looking for books that represented my students and realizing that, especially for young Black students, it was really hard to find books that weren't solely about overcoming adversity, basketball, or Black History Month. And all of those are important to include and are a part of, heroes like Martin Luther King Jr. and successful athletes are pieces of the story, but not the whole story. So there's kind of been this movement in children's books to sort of move in the direction of children of color just doing stuff and having it not solely revolve around their racial identity necessarily. I love this book because I think even though it features things that might not be recognizable to every child in terms of getting a flat top or a barbershop, the idea of being anxious about getting your first haircut, or being anxious just about change in general, I think is really normal and relatable, especially for children, younger children. And I also love that it's just a story about a dad caring for his son, which is another thing that's sort of underrepresented in children's literature. We put a lot of attention on maternal caregivers and not as much on dads and men caring for children.
Yeah, would you want to say a little more about the relationship between the father and son? I think that is particularly kind of a sweet part of this book.
Yeah, so one of the first things that Furquan says is that he gets to grow his hair as long as he wants, but one day he kind of decides that he wants his first flat top, and this picture I really love right here. It's just such a sweet and I think really relatable scene to anybody who grew up in a home with a dad. It's just standing in the bathroom while your dad's shaving, and kind of they're just chatting about, I'm ready to get, my haircut. And
one thing I'm reminded of just seeing the illustration is that the book is in English and Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Which people might not realize.
It's a bilingual book, which is really cool. It opens a lot of conversations. It can open the door to dialogues about how not everybody speaks just one language at home, and certainly not everyone speaks English at home. So that's really cool. And I think, it's representative of the author's identity, which a big part of the anti-bias work that I try to do is give authorship over to the individual, about their own cultural identity, especially as a white woman. I think white people have been writing the scripts for everybody.
Oh, I see. So you're saying this isn't a book by
written by a white author about a Black or brown family.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So I think that's really great, and it comes through. It's such a first person story, and it's so relatable.
Yeah, would you like to show some other pages or illustrations that you like?
It's great.
It's a really beautiful book, too.
I think there's 3 right in a row here that I really love. Yeah. So this first one is them walking into the barbershop, and you can see all these different people partway through their flat top process over here, and waiting around, and just that picture of community I think is really nice. And you can see Furquan, one of the questions I'll ask kids when I'm reading this book is, how does this person look? And the kids can tell that he's feeling a little scared or nervous.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty sweet. And then this one is this one was interesting when I read it to a group of white kids, because a lot of them had never seen a pick before, and so it started this whole dialogue about different hair types and how we use different tools to care for ourselves depending on what type of hair we have.
I remember you were chatting to me about this book before, and you mentioned how self-care is such an important topic for children and such a big part of the classroom, and so diversity and self-care, I mean, that was cool to me. I just hadn't thought of that. How diversity and self-care is a really important topic.
Absolutely,
also.
And that's another one of the reasons that this book is so cool, is because it's this child kind of going through the process of realizing his own autonomy over his hair and his self-care routine. And also just having a book that, like on this next page, really celebrates the beauty of really kinky, curly hair, and just looking at all these different flat top. The kids love looking at it. Like, it's beautiful, and a lot of them maybe haven't been exposed, I mean, not just to fades, but just to celebrating black hair, because it doesn't happen a lot in our mainstream culture. So I think it's really, really wonderful for that. Oh, here's another. They're all great. The illustrations in this book are wonderful.
Yeah.
Because then he's getting nervous as he's getting his haircut, and he goes through all of these things in his day-to-day life that are flat. He's like, what if my hair looks like this? What if it looks like a drum? What if it looks like a pancake? It's really charming.
Yeah, and so the dad gets to do the sort of reassurance.
And that caregiver
building.
role.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to close with? Or I'm just wondering how my phone doesn't hold that much video, sadly. I'm like, there's so much to say about this book.
Yeah, definitely. If we had time, we'd just read it. I just think I would love to see, more books like this. I think it's really a relatable and wonderful story. I love whenever there's a picture of the author in the back. Because I get to show the kids, like, this person wrote this book. And they're always really fascinated by that. And then when I see pictures like this, I tell the kids, this is a picture of love.
Oh, well, that's a good place to close. Thank you so much, Laura. It's a wonderful book, and I loved listening to you talk about it. Thank you.